How's it going, adapters? Coach Will here for another installment to Adapt at Home. All right, so today we have a really nice 15-minute workout. It's gonna be a little different in the sense we're gonna have 3 movements, but each one of these we're gonna do them for 45 seconds apiece. And I'm being really nice and giving you a 15-second break in between each exercise, all right? So for these 3 movements, we're gonna have double dumbbell swings. We can either do dumbbells, we could do bleach bottles like I got over here. We could do Gatorade bottles, whatever the case may be, just some kind of weight that we're holding one on each hand. So for this exercise, like I said, I'm using 2 bleach bottles. Use whatever you can. Just try to make sure that you're using somewhat around the same weight per hand, all right? From there, what we're gonna do, we're gonna get slightly into an athletic position. Notice that my feet are about shoulder width apart. You go a little bit wider. Just try to find a good position, because once we're in this position, all we're gonna do, we're gonna make sure maintaining that integrity of the spine, bringing our hips back, and then we're gonna go ahead and build up momentum by swinging it up and making sure that we're actively utilizing our hips to get this weight up, all right? And remember, we're doing this for 45 seconds. 45 seconds, and we're gonna be doing it for a total of 15 minutes. So we're roughly gonna be going through each one of these movements for about 5 rounds, all right? After the swings, we're gonna rest at 15 seconds, and then we're gonna go on to the next movement. Next movement that we have is gonna be sprawl to toe touch. I really like this movement because we're doing 2 things. We're incorporating some kind of core, and we're also getting a little bit of cardio in there too, all right? So I'm gonna start off again in that kind of athletic position, and I'm gonna drop down to that sprawl position. From this position here, I'm in the high push-up position, making sure that everything is stacked, that I'm not leaning more to one side than the other, and all I'm gonna do, I'm gonna touch opposite hand to opposite foot. So I'm gonna come here, touch, and touch. I'm going to demonstrate going over into this position, so looking straight ahead, going down into a sprawl position, jumping back or stepping back, and then I'm gonna go ahead and touch and touch. Now for this touch, I wanna make sure that you're being as active as possible doing this, okay? I really don't want you to be passive when you're doing these sprawls and when you're doing these toe touches. So for example, when I go down and I do the sprawl, the opposite hand, so for example, reaching towards this foot, this hand is pressing down into the ground. Pressing down into the ground, actively trying to activate all these muscles along the opposite side, okay? So again, going down into that sprawl position, touching, pushing down with this hand, and same thing with the other side. Driving down that hand and really actively touching that toe, and then I jump up. And come back down, just like so. All right? And again, we're doing this for 45 seconds. Then we're gonna rest 15 seconds, and then the last and final movement is gonna be those lateral lunges. Now with these lateral lunges, we can go a couple different ways with it. First and foremost, safety and making sure that we're scaling some of these movements pertaining to yourself. So what do I mean by that? So some of us are gonna be able to go to full depth, meaning butt all the way down to the grass, or if you feel comfortable to just going down into a side position where we only go this low, that's completely fine, because guess what? You're doing a lot more than just sitting on the couch, all right? So with these lunges, there's a couple different ways we could do it. We could either step out, going into the slide lunge, into this position, and notice I could tend on getting a little bit low, but we don't need to be that low. We could just get down into a position where we're actively feeling all the musculature on the lateral side of the body and the hip. That's what we wanna feel, all right? And then I step back, and then I switch sides, just like so, reaching out, and then dropping, all right? Making sure we're feeling all the musculature on the lateral side of the hip, and then coming right back up, all right? That's one way we could do it. Another way we could do it, which my wife brought it up, which was a really nifty idea, was what we could do, get a small towel, or you could even potentially do it without shoes with a sock on. And what we'll do, we'll just drop down, and we're just gonna step on the towel. From there, we're gonna slide it out, going down into that position, driving down into that foot, and then picking ourselves right back up. Switching feet into this position here, rolling out, making sure that we're controlling it, and then coming right back up, all right? For 45 seconds. And then finally, another way that we could do this, we could go into a sumo stance, finding a nice wide stance, and all we can do, kind of like the movement's usually called a Cossack squat, but all it is, we're just gonna be going side to side for 45 seconds, all right? So I gave you a plethora of different ways that you could do it. Just find what works best for you. And remember, any kind of pain or discomfort, try to substitute it with maybe the depth, or maybe even think about trying to sit down and getting right back down on a chair. All right, guys, so here we go. Time to get around in, all right? So remember, it's gonna be 5 sets. So if you can, you don't necessarily gotta go really hard right at the get-go, all right? Take your time, pace it out. Good quality movement. It's not about quantity, it's about good quality movement, bringing up that heart rate, breathing a little bit heavy, and trying to earn some of that food that we're trying to eat later on in the day, all right? But it's all about making sure that we're controlling our movement and we're getting good quality movement in there, all right? We wanna make sure after this whole ordeal is done and over with, that we're just getting right back to where we're at. If not right back where we're at least we're in a healthier state of mind. All right, so let's get this first round going and let's get started, all right? So I'm just gonna get the timer on my phone going. You can use any timer you want, but remember, 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off. All right, guys, here we go. Going in 3, 2, 1, here we go. Make sure you're breathing nice and steady. Really squeezing those glutes on the way up. And actively driving up. Just gonna go ahead and face the camera now for you guys to see with this position. There we go. 5 more seconds. And time. And there we go. First exercise done. 15-second break. Shaking it off. Take a little sip of water, pat yourself down. Don't take too long because now we're going into those sprawls and toe touches. Here we go. Nice quality movement. So remember guys, nice and active, pushing down on that hand. Pushing down on that hand. I'm gonna be facing this way. There we go. I went a little bit over on that one, just because I wanted to kind of finish it off, a little bit OCD. And then here we go for the last and final one. I'm gonna go and use a towel, but like I said, you have a plethora of different ways that we could do this. Here we go. Oh yeah, these are good. Make sure we're keeping that chest nice and up. And really driving with these feet down, that's sliding out. Driving down and pushing up. Chest nice and up. Controlled on the way down, pushing that foot down and picking ourselves up, just like so. Here we go, just enough time to do one more. Get a beach ready, and time. All right, there you go, guys. I'm a little bit out of breath. That was just round number 1. Let's get after it.